All right, so what I would like to do now, first of all, feel free to let me know at some point after we get through this next exercise, if you have any questions for me, feel free to do that, or any comments that you want to make from Patricia, from her sharing her success story with us. But what I'd like you to do now is I want you to just take a minute. I'm going to take you through a little short guided meditation and a little story. So if you're able to close the eyes or have a soft gaze, then I invite you to do that. You don't have to if you don't feel comfortable closing the eyes, but if you do, go ahead and close the eyes or have a soft gaze. Okay. Right. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to just take you through a little short story. So with that, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. Deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. And deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. Beautiful. So I want you to imagine that back in 2013, when I started sharing with you all about when I was in this place of burnout, and it was actually raining. It was raining really hard, and I was on my way back from seeing a counselor, actually. And what brought me to seeing a counselor is I was dealing with insomnia. I was taking sleeping pills at the time. I was having anxiety, not to the point of like panic attacks, but bad enough that it was constantly there and not going away. And I was dealing with depression. And I also was at the time taking time off of work. So I was actually having to take short-term disability because I had burned myself out. And I also had gone into a little bit of a mini breakdown. So I did not end up in a mental institution, but that would have been my next stop. So that was my dark night of the soul when I showed up at this counseling office. And so the counselor, when I was there at the office, one of the things that she suggested, because I had been prescribed anxiety medicine, and it was an SRRI, and I couldn't even tell you what the brand was. All I know is for me personally, for my body and my sensitivity to medicine, I was not able to take the medicine. It did not work for me. It made me feel like a zombie, like I was living outside of myself, like watching myself through a movie. And so because of how sensitive I am, I'm a highly sensitive person. It just did not, when I'm also very sensitive to medicine. So any kind of chemicals, even NyQuil, any kind of medicine. And so I was forced to have to figure out something else to lessen the symptoms of my anxiety and depression so that I could actually get back to functioning in the real world again. So the counselor said to me, what about trying yoga? Have you ever tried yoga before? And I had never tried yoga. I was very much like Patricia. I was a group fitness, Zumba girl, worked out my whole life. I've always used exercise as a coping mechanism, which I didn't even know that's what I was doing. But my whole life, I've used that as a coping mechanism for anxiety and depression, to naturally be able to holistically, and music, as I mentioned earlier, to keep my mind and my body, mental, emotional, physical health in a good place. And so I remember, again, driving back from the counselor office, and again, it was pouring down rain. And I pulled my car over to the side because I was crying so hard. And I just remember this moment in time where I said to myself, like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I have to make this change. I can't literally cannot function like this anymore. So I have to start getting to the root of what's going on with these different patterns and the things that I have happening right now with not being able to control my thoughts and emotional dysregulation and being stressed all the time, being in fight or flight all the time. Again, dealing with anxiety, depression. I was not sleeping. It was the first time in my life I was taking sleeping pills. Now, thank God, in 10 years, I haven't taken sleeping pills, but that was my one time in my life where I literally could not sleep without taking something. And so I invite you to just think about in your own life where you are right now, right? What is it? Each and every one of us on this call and that listens to this replay is struggling with something. And so I'm here to, be a support system. I'm here to acknowledge that every single person, again, that hears this call or that is on the call is struggling with something. And so however you've been dealing with that up to this point, whether it's been exercise, whether it's been medication, talk therapy, talking to a friend, self-help stuff, whatever it's been up to this point. Maybe you've tried yoga and meditation. Maybe you've started that journey. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's connecting to a higher power. However, you have used different coping mechanisms and resources up to this point, I acknowledge you and I honor you for what you've done up to this point. And I just want to take a moment to share, and if there's anybody here when we're done with this little guided visualization of if there's anything that you want to share right now that you're struggling with. And again, I know that every single person here has struggled with something, either that's been really, really hard in the past that you've had to deal with, that you've gotten through, and it's made you stronger, or it could be something that you're dealing with right now. It could be a combination. So I just invite you to give yourself credit for the hard things that you've gone through, because every single one of us, again, on this call and that will hear the replay has gone through something hard in their life. And you can identify it as trauma. We all have different little t trauma and big T trauma. And we all have, childhood unmet needs emotional unmet needs that we've had. We all have had something hard that we've gone through. And whether it's been in our relationships, it's been our generational trauma, it's been childhood trauma, some type of combination. We all have, quote, stuff, right? Stuff that we've gone through and the patterns that we've been able to put in front of us to be able to function, right? As a human being in society, right? One of the many things that I've identified is I have a high functioning anxiety. So high functioning anxiety is like the workaholic, right? The perfectionist, right? So in a societal terms, I'm not an alcoholic or a drug addict, but I'm still an addict as far as not solving what was happening underneath the surface, if that makes any sense. So we want to invite you to go deeper into the root cause of why you're having some of these patterns and whatever that is. Again, perfectionism, the imposter syndrome, the taskmaster, doing too much, not feeling enough. Who do you think you are? Over drinking, overworking, whatever the thing is, over shopping, over validation from outside yourself. So I want you to just take a moment and we started this on Tuesday of what is the sankalpa, what is the vow to yourself right now, the vow to change and the readiness for change of what it is that you want to release so that you can fully be showing up in the world as a healed human. And so that you can step into your next purpose, whatever that is for you, right? Your unique story, your unique purpose of why you were put on this planet, because we each have one. And so again, whether that's working full time and you're doing something, on a weekend, or you're doing something occasionally part-time that's purpose driven, right? Or whether you're somebody who eventually wants to have a yoga or wellness or coaching business, or it's a combination, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. In fact, you don't even have to know the answers right now, as Patricia shared. So I just want to invite you again, if you're feeling called, if you're feeling like this resonates for you, that I would love to be able to connect with you and do a consultation. And I know Tiffany and Nate, they're both on this call as well. They've both done consultations with me. So I want you to take a moment to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. So deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. Deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. And deep inhale through the nose, exhale, release. Beautiful. So if there's anybody in the Facebook group, here in the Zoom room, that wants to share, if there's something that resonates for you, that came up for you when I was sharing that visualization of where are you right now? What are you struggling with, right? What are the things that you want to release and that you're very adamant, like you're drawing that line in the sand of releasing the things that aren't serving you anymore, and you're done. You're done. I know that's where I was. Like, I was led to that dark night of the soul. I was led to that, my story was burnout and breakdown. So I went from burnout, breakdown, breakthrough, right? That's kind of my story. And everybody has a story, right? Like, I don't want other people to have to go to the dark night of the soul of a burnout or a breakdown in order for them to do this type of work, right? And that's part of why I do this work too, is that I don't want other people to have to suffer to the extent that I did before I started doing this work, if that makes sense, because I was living in my subconscious mind. I had all kinds of generational and childhood trauma and relational trauma from my past marriage. I had no idea. Lots and lots of trauma. I had a traumatic childbirth. I had a C-section. That was a trauma. The list goes on and on. The point being, every single one of us has something that we've not dealt with, that this somatic work is going to get into the heart, the mind, and the body to help you truly heal and transform from the inside out, through the breath work, through the meditation, through the singing, through the prayer, and from the outside in is the asana practice, right? The physical practice that changes us. And that's the energetic imprint that we actually shift and change. So let me see here in the chat. Tiffany says that from Patricia's call, that she took an inpatient trauma and mental health therapy out of the way in 2020 and loved it. Tiffany also said process of addictions are very challenging to manage sometimes. I'm thankful for what I'm learning in LMS to manage it. Beautiful. So is there anything that anybody wants to share that they've identified as something that they want to change? I know there's a lot of people that have talked about perfectionism, people pleasing, overworking, struggling with emotional reactivity, not feeling good enough, imposter syndrome. That's just to name a few. So if there's any of that resonates for you, and you watch this in the replay, I want you to put hashtag replay and what is that thing that you're struggling with. And then if anybody wants to share her on the Zoom. But I want to take a quick moment. Some of you here are already in the program, and Sherry, for example, who's in the Facebook group, has gone through the program. Nate's about to start. Tiffany's in the process of starting. So we've got some people on here who are going to be starting. And for those of you, Shannon and Ella and some others that are on here, I did want to let you know that we are officially opening our doors today, and our doors will stay open through February the 20th. And we're putting in a limited amount of students that will go into this next cohort, because we try to keep it a certain number of students so that those students get a lot of love and care and attention, because when you get to too many, then they don't get enough individualized and group attention. And also because we create these mentor groups like Patricia talked about, where they're small groups of like 5 or 6 people, which is another reason why we try to limit how many students that we have in the training. So whether you want to do a full teacher training certification, or whether you want to go through it from a personal development perspective, from a healing perspective, which is what Patricia started with, and now she's going to be teaching, you're able to do it either way. So part of the process, though, of actually going through the program is doing a consultation. And so that is so that you have a chance to talk to me and connect with me, and also so that we can connect to see if it's a good, if you're in the right place. So that is wisemindsoulwarrior.com. And I put that link in the comments. So again, wisemindsoulwarrior.com. And for those of you that might be familiar with it, I'm going to send you just the Calendly link. Now you can go to the Calendly link, or go to that page, and you can book a call that way too. But if you go to Calendly right here /Wisemind Yoga, you can book a call that way. So let me put that in the comments over here. That's the Calendly link. And then this is Wisemind Soul Warrior is our program. So it is a 6-month program, and you can look, I don't want to get into all the modules, but at a very high level, we get into family of origin, foundations of yoga psychology in module 1. And again, lots of information on the page. We do the psychology of the chakras and understanding emotional rinsing and emotional releasing and emotional regulation in module 2. We take you through tools to actually emotionally rinse in addition to yoga. We've got meditation, mindfulness, and the neuroscience of change is in module 3. And then in module 4, we talk about relationships and conscious communication and how yoga and trauma shows up in our relationships. In module 5, this is the business of yoga. So this is where we get into marketing and wellness and understanding your why. So even if you're not going to start a yoga business, there's a lot of good information that's more from a coaching perspective of like understanding your why, understanding your dharma and your gifts, understanding your purpose. There's a lot of different types of coaching in there outside of just marketing and the business side. And then in module 6, we talked a little bit about this earlier with Patricia, is the wellness module. And this is where we have Ramesh come in, and I teach as well about the doshas and understanding the sister science of yoga, which is Ayurveda, and how that ties into modern wellness. And then understanding actually how our thoughts affect our health and how our mental and emotional health affects our physical health, and how we can start to shift that, and that there is energy attached to thoughts and there's energy attached to emotions, and that's all science-based. So that's just a snippet of what we get into. I also have another expert who is a functional medicine doctor, and she's also a chiropractor, Dr. Ginger, and we have her as one of our guest speakers as well. And she is also in module 6, and she specializes in women's health. And we are hoping to have her back again this year to talk more about hormones. And then I also have a trauma counselor that is part of the guest teacher program as well, guest speakers. And she is in there as well, talking about some different trauma related pieces as well, because this is considered a trauma-informed program. So whether it's trauma-informed coaching or trauma-informed yoga teacher training, it is considered trauma-informed. So I wanted to mention that as well. We also are going to be going live in a Facebook group this year. So you will be having me in group coaching probably at least twice a month. So you will get me live. And in addition to that, you'll have the self-paced, which Patricia talked about, where you can be doing it on your phone. You can watch our LMS on your phone, or you can do it on your computer. So some of the stuff that I'm teaching can be something like how I'm talking right now, where I can be on in the background. And then other times it's going to be where you need to sit down and actually do a journaling exercise or do some, shadow work. And that would be something, obviously, you need to carve out time to do that, where you're not driving or doing something like that. And there's tons of yoga classes and sadhana practices. So there's 6 modules over the 6 months. And every module, you will have a asana practice, which is physical practice, and sadhana practices. So for example, starting out in module 1, you've got 10 practices in that module of around the koshas, and you have a sadhana and an asana. Module 2, you've got the chakras, 14 classes on the chakras. So the point is, you will have lots of yoga and meditations, guided meditations, and chanting and singing and breath work and all the things that you can do. And then there's a lot of bonuses that we give you too, a lot of past retreats that we've recorded and other things that you get well beyond like just the training. We also are going to be offering a retreat this year, and we can talk more about that when we do a consultation. I think that's everything, like in a nutshell. Like for example, we have a 900-page manual. The point is, like, we have a lot of resources for you. If you're thinking about being a coach or wanting to be a yoga teacher, we also give you done for you handouts, and that's not a normal, like, standard yoga teacher training program, if that makes sense. It goes well beyond just what a standard yoga teacher training program is, if that makes sense. So it's almost like having group coaching at the same time. Okay, so we also, last thing I'm going to mention, we also have a special that we're doing through Monday. And the special that we're doing through Monday is, it's $1,200 off the actual program. And we're also offering a session with me one-on-one. And so that's kind of like what we're offering for the first students that do join between today and, it doesn't have to be today, it could be setting up a call today and doing it by Monday. So whether you join by Monday or you can set up a call by Monday, but we do suggest, again, I have another person who's a coach that's working with me that's also going to be doing calls, and then I will be doing calls. So anybody who is on like these lives, for example, I'll be doing your call. But we do have another transformation coach that's going to be doing calls as well. So you guys have the website. It's wisemindsoulwarrior.com, and the Calendly link, calendly.com/Wisemind Yoga. I promise you, there's no obligation. And, I know Tiffany and Nate can both attest to, I will be very gentle and, supportive, and however I can be, to determine if this is something that would work for you, that would serve you right now. So do you guys have any other questions for me? Anything else? Anything, Nate or Tiffany, that you want to share, or Sherry over in the Facebook group? Is there anything you want to share about the program? Margot says she wants to show up fully in her life, letting go of fear and my best self. For me, those who I may touch in the world, I'm done being in emotional pain. Okay, girl. Well, we need to talk. Okay. Go onto the Calendly link, because I know you and I have touched base in the past. So go to the Calendly link, see if you can find something on there for us to schedule something. Okay. Let's see. All right. So you guys are quiet here right now. Okay. So I think that is everything. We kind of went over with time. I don't want to go into a lot about like the Heal, Detox, Transform method. But in a nutshell, it's really going to help with like stress resilience skills. It's going to help with keeping you calm in the chaos. It's going to, unpack the root cause and heal and transform what's happening from your family of origin. A lot of times someone has tried talk therapy, which is not required, but there are a lot of students who've tried talk therapy and it didn't work for them. It didn't go deep enough for them to actually somatically heal the mind and body. And so they decided to join our program. It's going to help prevent burnout. It's going to help restore you, rewire your brain. It's going to heal your heart space, just to name a few things. And it's for corporate professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners, moms, therapists. It is for wellness coaches, relationship coaches, yoga teachers. We have a nurse that is part of the program. So again, we don't limit it to someone who's just looking to become a yoga teacher, because so much of this work is about personal development, healing, and transformation. Any teacher training is, but this is above and beyond what a quote, normal teacher training is. It's way, way beyond the level of depth that we go into, if that makes sense. Okay. So, because I've also integrated what I used to do one-on-one at the yoga studio for yoga psychology coaching. I actually integrated that into the program. So like in module 1, it's like if I was sitting down with somebody one-on-one, you're getting those exact videos and those exact handouts that I would be giving to somebody if I was working with them one-on-one. Okay. So I've really tried to make this like as transformative and healing as I possibly can, and to get it out to as many people as I can. And so that's why I've set it up this way, because I can only do, in the past, I can only work with so many people one-on-one in a week. But this allows me to put it out to more people. Okay. And it allows the whole world and the whole US. So I hope that answers everything, you guys. But I'm going to also post a homework exercise for kind of readiness for change and going back to that sankalpa, that intention, that vow to change, that readiness for change. So I will be posting something in the Facebook group. I'll try to do it before the end of the day. If you have not joined the Facebook group, I highly, highly recommend it, because I'm going to be doing pop-up yoga on Saturday. Okay. So again, the Facebook group is Wisemind Yoga Psychology Soul Tribe. That is Facebook group. Okay. All right, you guys, please feel free to message us. You can leave a message in the Facebook group. If you're part of the Facebook group, you can message us on our business page, which is Wisemind Yoga Psychology Meditation and Mindfulness Center. And then I will follow up with Shannon and Ella and some other folks that were on here today. And we'll just connect and see if you want to do a consult call and just connect and see if you're ready to move forward with making a change. And so again, I am sending you guys so much love, light, and blessing. I'm so, so grateful for you carving out the time these 3 days. I know Shannon, you're one of them, and Ellen, a few others that were on here almost every single day. And Margot, some of you were on here 2 of the 3 days. Crystal's another one. I know she couldn't make it today, but she and I talked yesterday, and we're in the process of figuring out some financial stuff for her so that she can move forward. So that is one last thing I did want to mention, is that we have Wisemind yoga programs as far as payment plans and things. But then I also recently partnered with a financial company that is going to allow another option for people for taking out a loan, but also depending on even if you have a lower credit score, it still allows you to be eligible to get a loan. So this company, they specialize in coaches and training. So if you're a coach that you're actually selling a coaching program, or you're somebody like me who's doing training and I'm doing both, they have created partners with different banks that will support this type of program, so that you still have the option to use your own credit card or debit card, and do it through Wisemind Yoga. So, for somebody who may not want to take out a loan, I'm just letting you know that that is an option. And we want to be able to support more people that way. So that is the one thing that, for anybody who knows me, who's been part of this program, they know that I've worked with them as far as figuring out a way to make it work for them to financially be able to budget it and be part of the program. So I am sending you guys so much love, light, and blessing. Namaste. And thank you again. And I am so, so excited to launch this new cohort that's going to be starting. It's going to be starting on February 22nd. So again, the doors will be open through February 20th, which is a Monday. But again, I encourage you to, if you're going to do a consult call, to do it sooner than later, because we're going to put priority on the people that did show up here live, and then the people that registered for this. And then also we have people on a wait list too. So if you're getting excited and this is resonating for you and you're feeling a connection, schedule a consult call. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm sending you guys so much love, light, and blessing. Namaste. And we will see you all soon. I hope to see you on Saturday. Okay. All right. We'll send love and light, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day.